welcome back for another video. So this video is going to be a little bit of like hodgepodge, this and that, but I am just finishing up canning the tail end of my peaches for this year. I have 40 jars that I did so far this week, well Nelson helped me do, and then I have somewhere around 40 jars that I did last week as well. So I'm finishing up the tail end of these, and I thought I would just kind of include it in a vlog for some fun kind of like cooking slash homemaking content. I also want to try to make sourdough English muffins this week, and I've never made them before, so I thought I would also include that in this video and kind of give you guys just some fun, maybe summer kitchen inspiration kind of things. So that's what I'm up to. I'm about to sit down and peel peaches to do my last little bit. If you let me, here you guys can see I literally only have this much left to do. The beginning of this week, almost the whole table is full of peaches, so I made a lot of progress, and honestly I think I'll only have to do like once in my canner or whatever, my pot on the stove, because it holds 4 jars, so that has been doing a lot of canning, especially with doing 40 jars so far this week. But anyways, so I'm gonna get peeling, finish these up. I'll kind of just share with you guys what I'm doing or how I'm doing them as I go along. I'm pretty new to canning, and we didn't really can much growing up, so I've been doing some canning with my mother-in-law, and she's kind of been teaching me the ropes. So this is kind of like my first solo endeavor. So far it's going good, but anyways, I thought I'd bring you guys along for the tail end. Hopefully you enjoy it and it's fun for you guys. I got my peaches from a local farmer's market for a really great deal. I got them for $10 a half bushel, so that was a really good deal. And they were Red Haven peaches, I believe, and they were so nice and easy to peel. So this is a pretty basic, I don't know, I was just sitting here peeling peaches, and then I would slice them and fill a jar and kind of work until I had 4 jars full, and yeah, then I would fill my canner. And also I was talking to Nelson, so that's who I'm talking to in the video clip. He was home early, so we were just chatting while I peeled all the peaches. So I have my first 4 jars peeled, sliced in the jars, my first 4 whatever jars of peaches. I'm doing sliced rather than halves because you can get more in a jar. I don't have to buy as many jars because I'm like in that phase where you're buying a lot of jars for everything you're canning. Okay, so next I have a big stock pot basically here that I'm doing my canning in. I have my water in it. It's like just been heating like kind of on low, so I'm gonna put a trivet in the bottom to keep the jars off the bottom. I'm not exactly sure why you have to do it, except that I know that your jars aren't supposed to just sit right on the bottom. So but anyways, so next what I'm gonna do is, if I'm doing a lot, I make like a 10 parts water, 1 parts sugar, like sugar water in like a gallon pitcher. I don't measure, I just like dump a little bit of sugar on the bottom and then hot water, stir it all together, pour it over my peaches. But because I'm only doing a couple, I'm just gonna put a little bit of sugar in each jar, and then I'm just gonna fill it up with water instead of having to mix a whole bunch and possibly like having extra or whatever. So that's what I'm gonna do real quick. Then I'm gonna stick them in the canner. After I stick them in here, I'm gonna make sure it's full of water, and then it has to come to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, it boils for 15 minutes, and then I'll take the jars out. So that's it. It's actually really fast. But while that's boiling, I'm gonna go peel more peaches, which is pretty mundane and basic. But yeah, that's what I'm about to do. And here you guys can see the other 40 jars that we did this week. And then I have more in our storage room that I did last week. Alright, so I got all my peaches in, as you guys saw, and the next thing I'm going to do is I really want to try and make sourdough English muffins tomorrow, and there's a little bit of prep that goes into beforehand, and so I found a recipe on my phone from, I think it's Little Spoon Farm, something like that, here on YouTube. For some reason with sourdough, videos are easiest for me because I can see exactly what they're doing, and so I feel like I'm less, I don't know what the word is, but I'm not going to mess it up as easily because I'm watching exactly what they're doing as compared to just reading a recipe. So I'm going to prep my dough for tomorrow to make sourdough English muffins. It's probably going to be like tomorrow during nap time or something like that. It's probably not going to be first thing tomorrow morning. I just want to have some in the fridge. So that's what I'm about to do, and I will try and link the video if I remember it down below with the recipe and everything of what exactly I am doing. This is the first time for me, so we're gonna see if it turns out or not. So far I've made sourdough biscuits and I've made sourdough cinnamon rolls, and they've both turned out really good. So I'm hoping this does too, and I'm pretty confident that it will, but we'll have to see. For the sourdough recipe, the recipe I was using used measurements as far as like grams. So I just got out my scale and it was really nice. I just kind of would clear it and add in however many grams of the next thing or ingredient that it called for, and then clear it again and keep doing that. It was nice. I didn't have to use a bunch of different measuring cups or anything like that. So that's what I'm doing here, is just measuring out all the ingredients and mixing them together. I also turned out my dough onto a floured surface and just hand kneaded it for a couple minutes before I stuck it back in the bowl to sit overnight. Hey guys, so I'm back the next day and I'm here to finish up my English muffins. I have them right here. They've been sitting in a bowl overnight, and I'm just kind of going to pick up where I left off with my recipe or the video that I'm watching. Like I said, I'll link it down below, or if I didn't say that, I'll link it down below for you guys. But I think I pretty much have to roll them out and then let them sit for an hour, and then I can fry them, or I think they're done up in like a non-stick frying pan or something like that. So that's about what I'm going to do. It's 2:30. Sorry, I was trying to figure out the time. So obviously these aren't going to be for breakfast or anything, and they've sat more than 12 hours since I did them last evening. But that's alright. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick and then let them sit for about an hour, and then I will come back and yeah, finish them up, and hopefully they turn out pretty good. The recipe called for cornmeal instead of flour to put it down on your surface, because obviously this flour is not fermented like the flour that is in my dough, but I didn't have any, so I just used flour and it turned out fine. I think next time I am going to try to get cornmeal, because you can taste the flour a little bit on the outsides of the English muffins, like more than I care to, but it still worked perfectly fine. And then I just pressed it out by hand till it was the thickness that I liked. And I also did not have one of those little round circles to punch out English muffins, so I used a wide mouth jar, and that made the perfect size English muffins. So if you don't have one, little tip, just use a wide mouth jar, and they are the perfect size once they're all cooked and fried, I guess is the right word. They come out to the perfect size for an English muffin. The recipe said to put your English muffins in a pan and set the timer for 4 minutes to let them cook per side, and 4 minutes wasn't quite enough for me, and I think also my pan wasn't completely heated when I first put them in, because I ended up having to flip them back over to the side that was already cooked and let them cook for a little longer, and the one side got a little darker than I preferred, but that's okay. It was all a learning experience, and you kind of just learn as you go, and I think different pans and different stove tops obviously will affect your time as well. on my English muffins, but I tasted one and they taste so good. The first ones I had to put in for a little longer in the pan because they were not quite done. But it's definitely a make again recipe, and it was not too hard. So if you've never done sourdough, or you've never done sourdough English muffins, it's really not hard. I promise you can do it. Thank you guys so much for coming along with me the past 2 days as I did some new things, tried some fun things. I hope you enjoyed it and enjoyed watching the video. If you did, I would love it if you could hit that like button for me and consider subscribing and sticking around if you're new, and I will see you guys next week in my next video. Bye guys!